Hello, I'm Dr. Linda Nelson, and I'd like to take a few minutes and tell you a little bit about my background and the history of our company. I'm going to take you clear back to the early 1940s when penicillin came on the market. My mother was a registered nurse, and in the 1940s, if you were a registered nurse, you could keep a pharmacy in your refrigerator. And I grew up with syringes and bottles, little vials of penicillin in our refrigerator all the time. And no matter whatever was wrong with us, we would be given a penicillin injection. I was on antibiotics probably a good part of my life, clear till I got into high school. And by the time I got in high school, I started exhibiting a lot of degenerative disease symptoms. In the early 1950s, kids weren't sick, and degenerative disease was pretty rare. And so all of a sudden I became sort of known as a hypochondriac, and I was sick all the time. But I knew I was sick, and I was having a hard time sleeping. I had, now what I know was depression, which was not diagnosed in the 1950s, particularly in children. We know now that a drug solves a symptom, but it always causes other symptoms. And so then I went on to allergy medication, and then I went on to medication for depression, and then I went on to painkillers that started this cycle of solving a symptom with a drug. Pretty soon, when drugs really didn't solve it, then we started the cycle of surgeries. And because I ached mostly in my hips, my doctor's solution to that was to take out the muscles in my hips that actually were aching. And so I have gone many years of my life without the structure of the two big outside muscles on the outside of my legs. I had my jaw broken twice and wired shut with the idea that when it healed, my jaw would work. And of course, all of these just snowballed into illness and getting sicker. In 1979, someone said to me, "Have you ever tried holistic therapies?" Well, I had tried everything. I had been on, by 1979, I was on 35 different prescription medications a day, nothing life-sustaining. They were all just to solve symptoms. And I thought I had tried everything. I'd tried acupuncture, I had tried everything. And I had never thought of holistic therapies. I didn't really even know what holistic therapies were. And my attitude was, why would I try them? I'm an educated person. It doesn't sound like it's a real treatment. But I finally went to California to meet with a darling little naturopath who had the only accredited nutritional college in the United States in 1970s. And he sat down and talked to me for 4 hours. And I tell people that was my first clue that this was different, because that was like 3 hours and 50 minutes longer than any other medical discussion I had had in the 38 years of my life. And as I sat and talked to him, about 20 minutes into this discussion, he said, "Everything that's wrong with you is being caused by a toxic body." And I was on 35 drugs. I knew that was true. That was sort of an aha moment for me. And then he said what changed my life. He said, "You will never ever get well unless you change how you live. You are responsible for your health." And looking back, it makes me feel very uneducated, because it never had occurred to me that I really had some say in my health. I still to this day can remember how I felt after going through a liver blood purification, a bowel, kidney purification to detoxify my body. I can still remember how I felt on the 6th day. When I woke up that day, I had had a migraine headache every single day for about 5 years before that, and I had not been able to breathe without antihistamines or nose sprays for probably 35 years before that. And I woke up that morning and my headache was gone and I could breathe. And I honestly thought, my gosh, I'm cured, which was extremely naive, because it was a long process when I really became totally well. But I told him I could come home and do the program, if he would just make sure that I had all the information. And I came back to Salt Lake City and followed exactly every single thing he told me to do. So we decided that we were going to learn how to do this and teach women how to get well. We actually work with men now too, but at the time I wanted to teach women how to live and how to be well, and so we went back to him and to this darling doctor and asked him if we could buy the formulas of these herbal detoxifications that he had worked with me on. And he did, and introduced us to some other people that had some wonderful holistic things. And we came back to Salt Lake City all excited to start this little company and teach people how to live. So this was in 1979. And I will tell you that 1979, nobody cared. White bread, white sugar, soda pop, fast foods, microwave ovens, they were all pretty much new in 1979. Nobody wanted to detoxify. Nobody wanted to be told what they could eat and how to eat. But we were very lucky to meet a senator from Hawaii who actually was Japanese, and a woman from Singapore. And they were both so excited about what we were doing, because essentially we were teaching Chinese medicine. We were teaching what their medical situation was there, except that it was in capsule form and it was in programs. And they embraced what we did, and they took all of our programs to Asia. As of 2012, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of people well, and many, many, many outlets and mentors trained to actually educate and love people well, which is what we teach people to do, is with programs that change their life, and with a mentor that will follow someone through and educate them and love them well.